I don't think people realize that any donation can help somebody in any sort of way. If they keep a roof over their kid's head, or lift that burden from the parents of having to explain to their child, well, we're gonna have to move, or we're gonna have to do something else because of not having their rent being paid. I think it's a great cause. It's a great programs that Interfaith has, not only just the back to school that I've assisted with since I was in middle school, but when I worked here, I could also see in the limited funds, there's so many people that would call for rent assistance, or for any type of assistance that we don't have a grant for. And I remember so many people calling and we didn't have our funds, and they were freaking out because they didn't know how they were going to pay their rent. So that's also, I think, a discouraging part, that they get turned down because we don't have the funds. Yeah, and I think that's one of the biggest things, that like the stereotype of, well, you received assistance, so, or you were on government assistance, so there's a stereotype already, and you're lazy, you don't work, you don't do this. But I think it's also, it doesn't mean you keep coming back for assistance. It can be like for instance what Interfaith does, it's an emergency kind of type basis, once a year, and that's if you meet the requirements. So it's not you come back every month, every week, or anything like that. So I think it's one thing that people need to understand, that it's not I'm coming and getting assistance all the time. It's maybe when something happened, you got sick, you couldn't work, and you just entered a job and didn't have that paid time off yet, or anything that could come up, because there's always unexpected things that would come up. I mean, you don't budget for, oh, my child got sick and Medicaid's taking a long time to renew, so I'm gonna have to take him to the doctor like this. Stuff like that that you just don't budget for, unexpected things that come up. My family used to receive assistance through the back to school program, and then in 6th grade when my mom applied for us, they didn't have any bilingual volunteers. So I asked Alicia at that time if I could help her just at least translate for people, because that's what I usually did for my mom anyways. So she said yes, and so since 6th grade I started taking applications. First I was just making copies of people, translating. Then I continued doing it through high school. It would just be during like the apple tree program time period, and then I went off to college and they made a position for me type of thing. So I worked here part-time while I still was going to school. Yeah, I still continue to do it, still continue to keep in touch with them, see if there's anything else I can help with.